Check, check. What is going on, my beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Generation Genius. The boy got his haircut. I'm feeling actually super clean. I'm been getting compliments from my wife too. So, when wifey complimenting, it's over. But how are you guys? It's not even 10 a.m. yet, and I'm here recording. You know what I'm saying? I'm here recording, and I'm really excited because I have not recorded anything in a while. I haven't recorded a podcast in a while, but I'm hoping to get super consistent again with this part. I feel like it's always more important to just, outside of music and dancing, it's cool to just be able to talk to people and, be able to, you know, and I feel like I started this podcast for that reason because I like to talk. And the more I talk, the more people listen, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we are back, and I'm going to get more guests on here too. Like, I've been talking to friends, and I'm going to get more guests. I'm going to get my wife on here too. So that's going to be really lit. Just talk about different themes and different topics. This is a faith-based podcast and a creative-based podcast at the same time, a little bit of both. And I really feel like I know a lot of really intelligent people. But I kind of wanted to do a recap of, not even just a recap of the year, but like kind of just say like I'll probably do a part 2 to this, but like, what are some of the most important things that I learned this year? What are some of the most important things I learned this year, And I'll start by saying one of the most important things I learned this year is that like you cannot beat consistency. And I say that to say like you just can't beat consistency. And I've always had to be consistent as a creative and as a person of faith, but like that consistency, man, is just like unparalleled. There's nothing that compares to being consistent. It's like you can be the best football player in the game, bro. You could be the best. You could have the best thrower, best everything. But that same dude that is highly, highly consistent is going to destroy you every single time. And not because he's better than you, it's because he stayed on point. He's way more consistent than you are. And that's going to win every single time. And dropping content daily, this is my first time. I think I've dropped probably a video a day for the past 40 days. And on some days I don't really see it. You know what I'm saying? On some days I'm like, are these analytics even really good? But I am the algorithm. I believe in the algorithm kind of, but in other ways I'm like, consistency is gonna beat the algorithm every time too. You know what I mean? Like, let's just say you have 5 loyal fans, right? That 6th fan is going to become the 6th fan, and the 7th fan is going to become the 7th fan, and the 8th fan is going to become the 8th fan, and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, man, another thing I've learned about consistency is, like, it makes you healthier. Like, you're building habits, like, when you're consistent. Like, if I'm reading my Bible 3 times a week, that's cool. But there's something about being in that spirit of I read my Bible every single day. New things are going to rain down. My brain is getting stronger. Like, if I read a book, right? Oh, my wave's coming in already? Sorry, y'all, I got distracted. But no, like if I read a book every day, right? If I'm reading every single day, my brain is like, oh, you're a little bit more powerful. Oh, you're a little bit even more powerful. Oh, okay, yeah. And then by like day 30, you've read you do 10 pages, that's 300 pages of knowledge you now know. So, yeah. And another thing I've also learned about consistency is that it can become a tool for you later on. Like, I know how consistent I am. Like, I know if I want to start going to the gym, or like I know if I want to learn how to do a backflip, or if I want to learn how to play guitar, like if I know for a fact, like the 1% rule is that if I do it 1% a day, I'm going to get better at 1% a day. And after a year of doing it, I'm 365% better. And after 3 years of doing it, I'm whatever 365 times 3 is. So yeah, man, you cannot beat the consistency, bro. Like that consistency is just unparalleled. Let me turn the camera. I feel like I'm doing this. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so like that consistency is your best friend. That's it. Second thing I've learned this year, and again I'm gonna do a part 2, but something else I've learned this year is that ego is a huge thing that has to be checked constantly. Like you have to check your ego. Like, and sometimes you're wrong, but it's okay to be wrong. Being married has taught me that, like, hey, man, you're wrong. And you have to tell yourself you're wrong because we aren't always right. And I think as human beings, we have to check our egos because we definitely aren't always right. Like, I'm wrong a lot. I'm right a lot, but I'm wrong a lot. You know what I mean? And the thing about being wrong is like, you're not a bad human being if you're wrong, right? Like you're not a terrible human being if you're wrong, and you don't have to beat yourself up if you're wrong. It's just like admitting it is the first thing. You know, is that a dog barking? That dog needs to shut up, just barking during my podcast. You know what time it is. Anyway, yeah, like if you're wrong, admitting it's always first. Like no matter how long it takes you to get there, I've learned that like things are simplified when I'm like, oh, I was wrong for that, and I need to learn from that, and that was a mistake, and blah 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 blah, and you just as opposed to like being wrong, knowing it, and still standing on that hill. Because you stand on the hill, if you stand on the hill of you being wrong, and you keep standing on that hill, and I'm not saying this, I'm not preaching at all. This is just real. This is real. If you stand on that hill, the hill's gonna collapse. It's gonna collapse. Kate Bush, stop running up the hill. But for real, check your ego as fast as you can. And it's okay to be called out when you're wrong, because if people that are calling you out that you're wrong love you a lot, it shouldn't feel bad. But if people are calling you out that you're wrong and they don't love you, that's a different story. But, check your ego. Be like, oh, I can be better at this. Man. Okay, number 3. Something else I have learned this year that was really, 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 really important is that my feelings and my spirit are two very, 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 very different things. Because I can feel something, but my spirit is usually correct. And if that makes sense for my people that are my say folk, like my spirit's like, nope, this doesn't feel right. But my feeling's like, nope, I need to do this. Like, nah, that's how you get in trouble. You know what I mean? And I feel like with your feelings, it's like, should I respond to my feelings? Usually if you respond to your feelings, you're definitely wrong. So I'll say that for number 3. Like, follow your spirit. Don't follow your spirit more than you follow your feelings. Because sometimes your feelings are right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you love somebody, or if, sometimes your feelings are right. But a lot of times, they're very, very wrong. And something I learned from therapy is that my feelings are not always right. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Like, I'm allowed to feel it, but I can't always respond to it. And that's a big thing I had to learn as well. Number 4, go for it. Please go. Yo, listen, if you don't do anything else in your life, know that, like, go for it. And when I say go for it, here's the important thing about going for it, right? Number 1, one of the most important reasons that you should go for it always, right, is this. Today's November, what's the date today? Today is November 21st, 2022. I'll never get this day back. November 21st, 2022, this day is over, and I'm never going to get this day back. And I'm going to ask myself when I go to bed tonight, did I accomplish, and I'm questioning, like, I want to start a business, or I want to become a pastor, or I want to start a podcast, or blah, blah, blah. And I just wasted a day and didn't do it. And then I wasted 2 days, and those 2 days turned into weeks, and those weeks turned into a month, and the next thing you know, you're not even doing it. So I would tell you to go for it. You want to get that car and pay them high car payments? Sure. Be smart about it, though. You want to start that business where you're walking dogs, or, you want to sell snickerdoodles? Do your thing. Go for it, bro. Nothing excites me more than when people go for it. Like, and even if you fail a bunch of times, like, especially if it's a God-given vision, if it's God's vision for your life, you should go for it. And you're gonna have hard days. You're gonna have days when you don't feel like doing it, but go for it. Please go for it. I learned that when I hesitate on something, I lose the sauce, and then it's not even a good vision anymore. It's not even God's vision anymore. It's just my vision, because I'm like, no, because I'm caught up in me and blah, blah, blah. And God's always like, nah, bro, you need to go for it. So yeah, those are the top 4 things I think I've learned this year. Thank you guys so much for turn this back. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been Generation Genius, episode I Don't Know. Make sure you listen to the podcast. If you're watching the audio, if you're watching the visual and the audio, make sure you listen to the podcast while you're on your way to work or while you're at school doing whatever you're doing. And I will see you guys later.